Hello, welcome back to another episode of Table for Us. Pull up a seat and join the conversation. Before we get started, as always, if you have been following me and subscribing to my podcast, then you know that I have to start my episode off with giving all honor and glory to God, because without Him, nothing that I do would be possible. Okay? And if you are someone who is interested and have been thinking about starting your own podcast, my podcast is being hosted on Podbean. And I have a link below if you want to get started. They have a special going on right now where you can sign up and start off with your first month free of podcast hosting. So make sure you check out the information below. Today's episode that we are going to be getting into is the real talk on Black-owned businesses. And we got to do better. So as a Black-owned business who tries to support other Black-owned businesses or just businesses of color, I actually support all businesses, but I really try to support my people because we have to work basically 100 times harder than other people who have businesses. So I try to support my people in any way, whether that is purchasing from them, promoting them, telling other people about their services, reposting their content on social media. In some shape, form, or fashion, I am always trying to support my people. Last year, and they have this every year, I went to Invest Fest. It was my first time ever going last year, and it was amazing. It was really amazing. I met so many different people there and made sure that I exchanged information, so emails, phone numbers, and so forth. And I met quite a few people that I actually purchased some things from. And then there was one person who actually provided a service that I really needed. I went ahead and signed up. Now, what has led me to want to talk about real talk on Black-owned businesses and how we need to do better is due to a personal experience. I'm not going to mention this business name because that's just not me. However, I will mention talk about the experience that I had and how it has literally made me think about why so many individuals do not like working with Black businesses. So what had happened was I purchased a software that I was using from this company, and it was in order for me to provide a service for my clients. Now, when I purchased this service, and I just purchased this service literally last year, or purchased this software literally last year, one of the things that I noticed, let me back up. One of the things that I noticed the most when purchasing services or software from Black-owned businesses is the transparency is not always there. And what I mean by that is being completely, totally transparent with everything up front, right? Most people don't like to overshare things, but when you overshare, I feel like, me personally, you get less questions. You'll still get questions, but I feel like you have less questions because you provided the necessary information up front. So for example, I have a online remote customer service business, and anybody who works under my business doing customer service, you are actually a contractor. You're a 1099 employee. But the platform that we use, they have pay schedules. They have a pay calendar, right? Now, if I was to do something differently than what they have, because typically when they send the money out, it usually hits my business bank account on the day of that payroll, or it'd be like the next day. So to have things less chaotic for me, I would probably typically say, okay, I'm going to create a pay schedule to pay my contractors 2 days after the day that I know that the money from the platform will hit my account. So I provide them with a calendar for that full year. Wherever they start at, they'll see on that calendar, like, this is the payroll date. This is the cutoff date. So depending on what hours you work, it will only be for hours up until that day, right? So that's one thing. The other thing is, of course, making sure all documentation is in place. Of course, a W-9, because you need to report that on taxes. When you pay contractors, you need to be able to show that you provided them the amount of money that you paid them, and that you show the amount of money that you paid out to the IRS. Having an actual contract in place, very important. when working with clients and software and services is having a contract, whether you want to have a contract that says when you sign up, you with us for X amount of time, or this is a at will contract. You can stop your services at any time, no penalties, whatever your stuff is. You want to have all of this upfront signed and everything. Like, even honestly, I feel like even with having contractors, right? If you have people that are working for you, whether it's a VA or something like that, you want to have something where they sign off initial that they received this documentation, that they read it. They might not have read it, but they signed off saying that they read it, right? To protect yourself. So with this particular situation, I never received anything basically saying when the paydays were, right? My thing was, if my client receives their money, and this is for taxes because I do taxes. If my client receives their refund, right, through bank product, that means that the money has been delivered. So my tax preparer fee should be delivered to my account, if not that day, the following day. That wasn't the case. Okay, fine. They told me it was Fridays. Okay. They didn't tell me there was a cutoff or every other Friday is every 2 Fridays. That was never disclosed. So when a Friday came after I knew one of my tax clients received their refund, I reached out and I got no response. No email, no phone call, no nothing. So the following week, I'm still waiting. So I follow up again. So I followed up on Friday night when I saw that the money didn't hit my account. So I followed up, I think, a Tuesday. Still no respond back. No reply, no nothing. So here comes the next Friday and I follow up again. And I'm being professional this whole time because this is a business to business transaction, right? I'm a business and the people that I'm contacting, the software I use, they're a business. So it's not a business customer, it's business to business, but still I'm in business mode, professional mode. And I'm saying basically, hey, I'm following up. I sent the email. This is in regards to this client and they received their refund 2 Wednesdays ago. I'm just following up to see because now here it is 2 Fridays and I haven't received my deposit yet. So I finally get a message and it was such an angry response as if I was bothering them. And my thing is, if someone emails me and they're asking me a question, I always respond back within 24 to 48 hours, basically letting them know whatever it was that I'm trying to answer for them. And what happened was I didn't get that. So I wasn't sure if they were actually getting my messages or if they were like out of the office or something. I didn't know what was going on. So I'm literally just following up saying, hey, just following up again. I haven't received a response. I'm trying to see what's going on. Because for me right now, at this time of year, it's a slower time, right? So not a lot of income and so forth is coming in. So pretty much I'm depending on this, right? So I'm trying to find out, when is this payment going to hit my account? Because as I was told, you pay your people on Fridays. So they responded back very angrily, like, it was so unprofessional, so ghetto. I'm going to say that, very ghetto, and very condescending in their response to me. And pretty much was just like they didn't want to work with me no more, that I was a problem. And in my mind, I'm like, why am I a problem when I'm asking a question? Had this information been supplied on a document, and she's swearing down that we talked on the phone, and I was like, I haven't spoken with you on the phone since I've had this software. I haven't spoken to you on the phone. All of our communication has been through email. And I don't have an email of any type of pay schedule. And she was going on and on about employees and all this stuff. And I'm like, I'm not an employee of yours. Technically, I guess I would be a contractor because I use your software to take care of my client. And it was just like all of this stuff where it was just like nitpicking and all that, and just basically pretty much just saying that the business that I was, not the business, but the amount of clients that I was basically processing through their software wasn't as much as the other clients they have. So it was like a comparison. It just really just went left. And all they could have done was just reply and say, hey, we got this. The cutoffs is this day, which means that you'll get it the next Friday. That's all that needed to happen. But instead, it was met with aggression. It was met with attitude. It was very unprofessional. And things like this is what makes other people not want to deal with Black businesses, even when you're ordering stuff, right? So let's just say, because I have a design and print business, and if people message me on Etsy, I'm replying back like within a couple of hours to answer their question. If they're asking about something that has to do with their shipment or anything like that, I'm replying back and saying, hey, let me look into that and I'll get back to you. Don't just have people just sitting there waiting. Like, it's not about what it is that you're providing. It's also about your customer service that's going to bring more people to you and bring returning customers to you. But if you have a bad attitude and poor customer service as far as not getting back to people, guess what? They're going to go somewhere else. And they're going to talk bad about you. They're going to get a bad review and tell other people not to go with you. So not only did you lose that customer, now you've lost potential additional customers. And I just feel as Black owners, business owners, and I'm just going to say Black because really I've only experienced this with Black business owners. We have to do better with our customer service, right? When I reach out to another type of business, another business owner, whether it's white, Latino, well, yeah, even with Latino, they're sweet. I haven't ran into any problems yet with poor customer service. They're very empathetic and sympathetic and all the things, right? They're not sitting there basically arguing with you with customer service. And I have done customer service for years. I used to actually be a customer service representative for a credit card company. My son is 27, so 26 years ago is what I used to do. And I would get cussed out. Actually, I used to do customer service before that. But I would get cussed out. People would call me Michelle, and they would just be telling me all type of stuff and cussing me out and all that stuff. But I never argued back with them. Because first of all, whatever they're going through is not my fault. I wouldn't say it's not my fault, but it's not a personal attack on me, right? And so I would listen to everything they had to say, get out whatever they had to say. And these are actual phone calls. This is not email. These are actual phone calls. So I would listen to everything that they have to say, wait for them to finish, because, you're not supposed to interrupt. And in our training, the customer is always right. Even when they're wrong, the customer is always right. So I would listen to everything they have to say and then tell them, give me a moment. Let me look into this and see what I can do. That's probably the best response that you can give somebody. But not saying anything at all is only going to make the person even more angry and agitated. Then they're going to want to go over your head and talk to this person, that person. But in this case, in the example that I gave you, I'm actually dealing with the owner because the owner is checking the emails. She says she has all these employees, but she personally responded to me and responded so unprofessional where it's just like I was so thrown off because when I met her in person at this event, I'm like, oh, I've been following you on social media and I love what you're doing, because she has some other business stuff that she's been doing. And I was just like, you would have thought I had met this celebrity. And I don't know if she just, I don't want to say her head just got big because she has all this stuff going on that she's lost the customer service part of how she got started or whatever. But it literally made me like, okay, I don't no longer want to work with you. Because first of all, why would it take a whole week for someone to get back to me? Someone should have got back to me and said, hey, we'll get to you. We got your message. Or even like an auto reply, right? Some auto reply and say, hey, we received your response. Somebody will be back in touch with you in 24 to 48 hour business hours or something. I got nothing back. So with that said, I just feel like as business owners, and everybody has things that they're going through, whatever that may be. But when you're dealing it with your business and the people that you are servicing or selling stuff to, or whatever the case may be, never, ever give poor customer service. It will damage you. You are supposed to provide the best. In my business, majority of my clients that I have with my tax and credit repair business are referrals. And it's not solely based on the work that I provide. My work, I'm going to give you the best work ever. However, it's also my response to them. It's my education that I provide when I'm giving them information. It's okay, I'm not just going to do your taxes or fix your credit. I'm going to educate you on different things that you should be looking out for, or you should be aware of when it comes to tax deductions, or how your credit is being reported, or how to keep your scores up and not get your scores. I'm going to educate you. That's the type of service that I like to provide. And I'm not doing it because I want you to tell somebody about me. It's because I value you as a client. No matter if you a low-hanging client or you one of my high-ticket clients, everybody getting treated the same. So in her response, it was just like, oh, I was at the bottom of the barrel, so I'm getting all this attitude and stuff. And it was very sad. It was very sad because I didn't expect that from that individual. And all honesty, my feelings was a little hurt because I'm like, you're somebody who I looked up to. So as Black businesses, we have to do better. We have to change this stigmatism that where people don't want to do business with us. And it's literally mainly the biggest complaint is customer service, the lack of it or the attitudes that come along with it. We have to change that if we want to actually be successful and grow in our businesses. We have to do better with our customer service. Now, if we need to go take some classes, I'm quite sure there's some classes or something out there that can basically help you on how to deal with different situations, but you should never be taking anything personal and attacking your client or your customer. That should never be the case. Because then you'll start, not only would you lose business and stuff, you'll start getting complaints and bad reviews and things of the sort. And to some people, they may feel like I make this amount of money, so a couple of bad reviews don't bother me. But it should. It really should. And you should, when you get those bad reviews, it could be something that could have been avoided or can be resolved still. Where it's, oh, this one slipped through the crack. Because that happens. Let me reach out to this customer or this client and find out how we can resolve this and turn that review around to a positive review to give them a better experience. Like we apologize for X, Y, and Z, and we're prepared to do A, B, C to rectify this situation. Simple. Very much simple, right? Or in my case, is there something that we can do that caused your amount of tax returns that were processed to be this? How can we, instead of saying, oh, you didn't listen to nothing I said, and it's like, first of all, I don't work for you. And what did you say? What did you say? Because I purchased a software, I got a link to set up my software, and I had videos to learn how to navigate in my software. That was it. There was no one-to-one training. There was no marketing tips and tricks or things but neither here nor there. That situation is done for. I will be securing a different software coming next year, and I'll be more careful of who I work with, because this is also another thing that we have to realize. If someone signs up for your services and then they receive poor customer service, they don't receive what it is that you said that you're going to provide for them, and now they have to go start all over with somebody else, that's an inconvenience for that person. But I have to go start all over, pay an additional fee to now go and acquire new software or new services from someone else, when all you had to do was be more professional, or just be professional, period, and provide customer service where your customer feels that they are valued. No matter where they are at in your services, if they're at the bottom cheapest service versus your high ticket, everybody should feel that they are valuable to your business because they have contributed to your business. Okay? The other thing that I want to talk about is a call to action for Black entrepreneurs. You need to have systems in place. So if you remember that I just mentioned how I emailed and I didn't get anything back. If you have systems in place that can respond, at least with just even if it's a template response, it lets your customer know that, hey, my email didn't get lost in the abyss. Someone is going to look into this and get back to me. So you need to have systems in place, okay? You can have systems put in place. And I have a young lady, love her to death. She's my little sis, Automation Bay. She talks about systems and having automations in place. Because for one, if you start growing, as this woman told me, she makes this amount of money or whatever, then you should have systems in place that says, hey, for example, because I use automation-based systems for my credit repair client, and then she's building something for tax clients, where it's like it communicates for you. So when you're not able to, or you're asleep, whatever, when somebody messages or sends an email, whatever the case may be, or something is happening in the background, it notifies your clients of what's going on. So in that way, they're in the loop of what's going on, right? So for instance, for my credit repair clients, it will let them know whenever I'm doing their updates It lets me know, first of all, that it's time to review their file and do their new imports. So when I do that, I pull in all their scores and everything. I look at what's been deleted. I plug all this information into their contact file in my system, and then basically mark it as, okay, I've already reviewed their case is complete. I'll put in some different points and stuff of things that I need them to pay attention to. If anything new has been added to their credit, I'll plug that in. Any suggestions that I want them to follow on how to assist with getting their scores up higher, I'll plug that in. Once I'm done with that and mark it as complete, it immediately sends an email, a text message, and a voicemail to my client, letting them know the updates on their credits. They also have a mobile app that they can look in, but this communicates with them because not everybody's looking at the portal, right? So this literally sends them an email with all the detail. It'll send them a text message saying, check your email. And then it sends them a voice message memo that basically tells them, check your email, right? Because not everybody's checking their email. So I love this system. So it cuts down on people, and not that I don't want to talk to my clients, but it just cuts down on people, one, feeling like they're not getting any type of updates, two, feeling they don't know, feeling like they don't know what's going on with their credit. And then it also basically helps me to not have to be individually responding to people, right? It keeps them in the know. The same thing will be true for the tax software systems that she's putting in place, where I can basically say, hey, so such and such, it'll plug it in there and then it'll send it out. But basically it's going to let them know I've completed your tax return. Everything is done, or I need this and that. But if I'm done, it has been submitted. You go ahead and sign it. Please allow up to 21 days for your tax return to be processed, yada, yada, yada. Once their refund basically comes in or get closer to their refund, and it's supply links and stuff where they can check on the status of their refund through the IRS. Like all of that would be communicated with them through an email or text message, right? So they're not feeling like they're constantly texting and they're not getting a response or don't know what's going on with their tax return. And I feel as business owners, and these are just my businesses, but she can build systems for whatever type of business you have. She's built systems for private rental car people. She's built systems for clothing line people who do drop shipping orders. She can build your systems. You need to have systems in place. Things need to be automated. You need to, and this helps you with your customer service so that you don't have people slipping through the cracks. So as business owners, we definitely need to make sure that we get our systems in place. It will keep your response flowing. It will also make sure that you're staying consistent with your clients and keeping them in the loop of everything that's basically going on. So my biggest thing that I want individual business owners to take away from this is the importance of customer service. And in order to make sure your customer service is on point, have your systems in place, okay? When we start out as entrepreneurs, we are literally wearing every hat and you get burnt out. But if you have systems in place, it's like you basically have multiplied you. You've become multiple people without splitting yourself in multiple directions by having those systems in place. So we can't say that we didn't know or anything like that, especially with AI and everything. There's so many things that you can research on the internet to figure out, okay, how can I run my business more efficiently? Okay. How can I do X, Y, and Z because sometimes you can't hire a VA or you can't hire an employee right away, right? But you are still being stretched thin to whereas you can't do everything that you need to do. You can literally put in Google search and find out how you can do whatever it is you need to do to run your business more efficiently. Make sure that your customer service is on point. Make sure that emails are being responded to. Make sure that updates are going out. That is systems. You need to have systems in place. If you're doing things with social media, there are different automations you could have in place with that as well. There is one called ManyChat that I use for when I am doing content and running different promotions and so forth. And I can't sit there and respond to everybody that DMs me or comments or something. So ManyChat, you can set it up an automation where if anybody comments with this word or does this and that, send this response, send this link. You can set it up to run for you. And if you're going doing something else or you sleep, right, and people on other time zones, your systems are working for you. Okay. So that's an option that you can use when it comes to your social media platforms. You can set up email campaigns. You can have in your systems, again, that auto response where it literally says, thank you for contacting us. Someone will be with you. You can put it in there however you want to set it up, but don't ever just leave silence when your clients are trying to reach out to you, when your customers are trying to reach out to you, when potential customers are trying to reach out to you, because you don't want to miss out on a potential sale, a potential client, a lead, whatever, because you didn't respond back to them. But if you have those systems in place, your systems will respond back to them. Your systems will reply to whatever it is that they are asking. And you can also put that in there to where there's keywords that they say, or you can have questions, right? A drop down question. If you go on someone's website and the little chat box and if, oh, how can I help you or whatever, you can put that in there where it's like they're asking general questions that a lot of people ask and have those answers already set up. And then it's like if they want to speak to somebody additional, then it'll shoot it to you or to whomever you have designated to, or you could put a calendar in there and say, hey, reach out to us, book some time, and we can go over this with you one by one-on-one. But don't just leave stuff unanswered. Crickets. You will lose business that way, and you will get bad reviews. Okay, so the biggest takeaway from this is get systems in place. Do better with your customer service and your follow-up. Okay. Don't ever get angry with somebody. I don't care if they getting at you sideways. And in that particular situation that I explained, I never was unprofessional. I never got rude. I never was rude or anything. Like I literally was still in professional mode because I'm a business owner. So there was no reason for the hostility that I got back. Now, even if I were, right? Let's just say you are dealing with somebody who's being hostile. As the business owner, you are still supposed to stay in professional business mode. I don't care how they're acting or whatever, as long as they're not threatening you. And if they're threatening you, you can still respond professionally and just say, we do not deal with threats. And if you would like to receive help with whatever, come up with something that's professional. And if you need help on how to respond to people because you don't know how, use Chat GPT. Chat will help you. So if you type something and you sound all angry, drop that into Chat and ask Chat to reword it for you, rewrite it in a more professional mannerism. Okay? Don't be sitting out here sending angry messages out when you're supposed to be the owner, the boss, the CEO, or whomever, right? Don't do that. So yes, that would be the main thing or whatever that I would say that we need to do better on. And we can do better collectively. Let's turn the stigmatism around Black-owned businesses just being horrible and people not wanting to go eat at their restaurants, not wanting to hire them for catering, not want to deal with them for tax prep or credit repair, whatever that may be. We just need to do better. We need to check ourselves. And we need to, if there's somebody who is close to us and they're giving us constructive criticism on how we deal or talk with different people, we need to listen. Take note. Figure out what you need to do on how you can basically improve and do better going forward. Okay? We are not perfect as individuals, especially not as business owners. We're stressed and there's a lot of things on our plate, but we have to be more conscious of how we deal with our clients and our customers if we want them to remain customers and clients or refer other people to us. We can't sit up here and get too big up on the totem pole where we feel like, oh, we don't care about a few, even big businesses and companies with low clients or customers who are purchasing small things, they still respond back to them. Like Nike and Adidas, customer service is on point and they growing. So we got to think about that as business owners and do better, okay? And get your systems in place. Again, Automation Bay. I'm going to make sure that I tag her information in the comments. You can go follow her and reach out to her on Instagram. She is amazing. If she doesn't have something already built out that fits your business, she is the bomb and she can go ahead and build out something for you. All right. And again, if you are someone who is interested in being a guest on our show, make sure you click the link below. I will provide that information below. If there's something you want to talk about and you want to be heard, come join us, pull up a seat to the table and let's have a conversation about it. If you're interested in starting your own podcast, the information will be below on how you can do that. And again, you guys, thank you so much for tuning in and pulling up a seat to the table. You guys have a blessed one. Thank you for tuning in. Oh, make sure you guys are following us if you're not. and you hit that subscribe button. Hi, so my name is Nicolette Royal, or Nicole Johnson for legal purposes. Royal is my father's last name, but my mom gave me my dad's last name, but I use it now with my businesses, and I am the owner of Royal Legacy Services. Royal Legacy Services is a tax prep and tax advisory credit repair business. I started this business, I started doing taxes maybe about 20 years ago, and I treated it as a hobby. It was always a side gig for me. It wasn't until 2 years ago that I decided to go full in with my business when I got laid off. So I provide tax services for personal taxes. I provide tax services for small businesses. I provide tax advice. So with the tax advice, I typically try to give people tips and advice on what they need to do in the year before tax season. So different things and strategies that you can implement now will help you with tax savings, tax deductions, and credits and so forth when tax season comes around. I added credit repair about 3 years ago as a service to my tax business. And the reason being was because I had so many tax clients that I would hear when I would have a consultation with them. They would say, as soon as I get my money, I'm going to pay this off, or I'm going to do this so that I can fix my credit. So I felt like it was an opportunity to add credit repair services so that I can help them with their taxes and their credit. One of the things that really helped me in my business is I was my first client. So I started doing my own taxes myself, and then that turned into me doing taxes for family members and then friends. And pretty much everybody that I have currently literally is a referral. I might have a few people that found me on like Yelp or Facebook or something like that, but majority of my clients that I have, they were referred to me by somebody else. The same with credit repair. I actually went to an actual credit repair company before I was about to buy my house, and they got a couple of things off, but they didn't educate me on the importance of how to build my credit back up. They didn't educate me on the different consumer laws or anything of that sort. They just was like, pay me this money and we're going to do this. Well, pay this money to enroll. And I believe they had like a paper delete type of thing. So I decided to do credit repair differently. I probably overshare with my clients. I probably whelm them with things, but I want them to know everything that I know so that they can make sure that they don't get back into the same predicament that they're in when they come to me, right? So I make sure that they know about what makes up their credit score. I make sure that they know that in addition to me getting negative items removed, that they also need to now establish new credit. So I have a list of credit building accounts that I refer them to, and I walk them through the entire process. I also have an ebook that I typically tell new clients, potential clients, right? I tell them, hey, here's an ebook. If you want to work on your credit yourself, you can. And here's the steps on how to do that. So I'll share the link with my Stan Store where you can actually purchase my ebook. You'll also have a link on how you can reach me. You will, what else am I going to share? So my number is 702-969-3605. That is my business number. That is how you can reach me, or you can go to Royal Legacy Services, so svcs.com, and you can go ahead and schedule a consultation with me, and I will look at everything that you have going on, whether it's your taxes. I do back taxes. I try to stay away from amendments. If I didn't file your taxes, I typically don't like redoing somebody else's stuff, but I can look at it and look it over and see if it's something that I can help you with. The tax advice, I typically, if you have a business, I love people who have small businesses because there is so much that you are able to claim as a deduction under your business. So those are all the things that I will walk you through and talk you through when you have a consultation with me. So Nicole Johnson or Nicole Royal with Royal Legacy Services.